Hi guys, and welcome back to Chubby Pug Yarn Podcast. It has been a really long time, so I hope someone might remember me and might enjoy me trying to do this podcasting thing again. It's really weird because I haven't recorded any podcasts for a little bit over 2 years. Anyways, my name is Emma, if you're new here, and I'm a Swede living in Norway, and it's a regular Wednesday in November. It's the 11th, I think. So yeah, I'm currently at home with some coughing and fever and stuff, so I have been tested and it's just a regular cold, but it's a really annoying one, so I have been home for a week almost. I'm starting to feel better, so hopefully I can go to work next week, but I have had a really chill morning, so I figured I could try to record a podcast again. I have been thinking about it a lot over the 2.5 almost years, thinking that, oh, this is the time, now I should get back to it, and I haven't. There's many reasons for that, and I figured I can't be talking about it all in just the first podcast. But anyways, I did a recording 2 weeks before my son Hugo was born, and he is turning 2.5 in December. So he's a really big boy now, and I have been slowly getting back to more knitting, and I figured that I could perhaps show you some of the favorites today, and then I can try to find more of the knitting projects that I have been doing to show you later on, because I really hope that I can manage to keep recording. Perhaps a couple of times a month, or maybe once a month or something. I will try to figure it out. As you probably, if you're an old-time viewer, you won't recognize this area. The biggest thing, except for me turning into a mother, is that we bought a house during the lockdown, or we bought the house before, but we moved during the lockdown. So this year has been really hectic, and it has been quite a hard struggle, since all of my family lives in Sweden, and a lot of the time this year the border has been closed, so not even my closest relatives have been able to come here and help us. But things are turning into some kind of new normal. Right now we have a new lockdown, so now my parents can't come visit, but luckily they were here visiting a couple of weeks ago, so they helped me do some upgrades in the kitchen. So this house is from the early 60s, and a lot of things are original from the 60s, but we're planning to make it our home, and we do love to own a house instead of renting. It feels like a good, safe option for us, and luckily I'm still working, since my type of work is technically classified as healthcare, even though I'm not working like with in a hospital, but I'm adjacent to it. So I have been working quite a lot during this summer. So yeah, now I've been talking for maybe 5 minutes or so, and I haven't talked anything about the knitting. But I have some knitting piled around me, some old finished objects. I just picked my favorites and some of the newest ones, the ones that have completed very recently. So perhaps I should just get started, and I want to show you my biggest bragging project. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm Distortion. You have probably seen this. So the little baby is turning into quite a big little dude. So I finished this in the early spring, March maybe. So it's a pattern called Høstbladdressen. I knit this in Rauma Tumi, which is a superwash yarn. Usually I tend to actually use most non-superwash, but I figured that this is a clothing that will be used a lot outside. It will be mud, it will be perhaps ketchup if you're out eating foods, and those things that stain a lot, I figured it's easier to just throw it in the wash. I actually wash everything, even the non-superwash I wash in the washing machine, because I have the best washing machine ever. So, but anyways, I just wanted this to be a little bit more hard wearing since it was a lot of work. And I got the yarn on a discount, so that was good. I can't remember the color numbers, but I have used like a petrol turquoisey color, orange, green, and a slightly marled gray. And I have installed a zipper. So it's not a pretty sewing. I ended up sewing this in by hand, and I haven't attached any like decorations to cover my ugly stick. But I figured if I'm going to wait until I have done the decorations and until it was perfect, he will be in his teenage years. So I just figured, the zipper works and the dress is in the right size, so let's use it. So he has been using this since March. It has been thrown in the wash several times and it looks almost new still. So I'm really pleased with this and he likes it a lot. So when it's dry, he used this like an outer layer, and when it's colder and wet, we can have like a rain dress above it, or even a winter dress when it's really cold. And I believe this pattern still is available as like a PDF, but I know that the designer has released a book, and I believe this is in the book as well. I did have some problems since I didn't got an upgraded PDF, so my color work, it said in the description to use 3 colors, so I bought 3 colors, and then in like the chart it was only 2, so I have improvised which colors I used where. But I believe all of these things has been corrected, like for the new PDF and for the book. I also did the short rows for like a diaper a little bit lower, I believe. I made notes about it, so if you are really curious, you can just ask me. Or if you're able to use Ravelry, I have written them there as well. So yeah, and I had a lot of trouble with installing the zipper, but that's just me not being used to do things in a rush with a kid. That's not a good idea. So my sewing stick turned out uneven, so I had to pick it up and like do it again, and then the zipper didn't install evenly, so that's why I ended up redoing the zipper once or twice probably. So I hand sewed it in the end. It was a lot quicker, so I should have done that in the beginning. But yeah, it's a really nice one, and I can see myself knit more dresses in the future. But this one it's enough with one, and it needs a wash. He has been out playing this, so that's why he hasn't it on in kindergarten, because it's wool wash day for me. So yeah, that's like the most used one for Hugo. My most used object is a Vertices Unite shawl, the Steven West one that probably everyone and their grandma has knitted. So I have been wanting to knit this forever. So this is my version. And these are all souvenir yarns from my 25th birthday, when I was traveling to Edinburgh with my family in the spring, since my birthday is in the spring. So my brother and my parents invited me for a trip, and they said that of course I should visit some yarn shops, and I got some Eden Cottage yarn, and I still remember it to this day. It's thanks to my dad that I got this, because I was standing in the shop with 2 colors in one hand and 3 colors in the other hand, and said, which of these should I buy? I can't decide. And he's like, well, you're not going to travel to Scotland anytime soon, so isn't just as good to just buy all the 5 skeins? And I did. So I don't remember the colorway names, but it's let's see, there's a big section of this pinkish purple color. It's a solid color, and then I have striped a light blue and like a sage green, and then I have the dark blue, which is also the border, and then I have the sage green with an not plum but maybe aubergine purple. There is the light blue in a solid, and then I have the dark blue and the aubergine purple color striped. So this is all souvenir, and this shawl is the perfect size, it's the perfect temperature for me. I use it all the time, so I do love it. And I think I finished this in 2019, so it's been a while, and it's still my most used shawl. And yeah, that's a really nice one. And then what should I take next? Yeah, the most braggy one for Hugo is this one. Let's see, the cuffs are folded. So this is the Triceratopp sweater, and I finished this spring as well, almost the same time as the dress. We have a dinosaur tag inside, but anyways, so this is knitted in Rauma Tumi, which is alpaca and wool mix, if I don't remember incorrectly, and the dinosaur is embroidered with regular DMC thread, so you use all the strands at the same time. And I'm really pleased with this. And I actually knitted one for my little cousin as well, or little, he's 5, so this is the 2-year size, and it still fits Hugo very well. It's a little bit, when he was 1.5 before or something, when I finished this, it was a little bit oversized, but it looked really well, it fit really well and it looked good, and the sleeves are quite snug in the end, so it doesn't matter. So that's a really good thing. So I knitted this one in the 2-year size, and we still use it a lot. And the one for my cousin, I knitted the 6-year-old size in red. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of it because I forgot it. But yeah, it's a really nice one, and I can see myself make more of those. There's also like a mother's version, but it's made in a lot thicker yarn, and it's quite expensive, so I haven't like dug into that too much yet. And then for me, one of the other things that I use a lot, and especially now when it's getting a little bit colder, is this shawl that is a finished object of this year. This is another Stephen West pattern, because apparently Stephen West shawls are the things that I keep for myself. So this is the Jigsaw puzzle. So this I have used scraps from the round baby blanket that I knitted for Hugo in Ask from Hillesvåg and Rauma Finull. So this is a lot more rustic than like the Vertices. This is sock yarn. I don't remember exactly, but it's like a merino nylon, so it's really flowy. And now the pug is barking at the bird. That was just my day. So the grumpy old pug sleeps in the sofa over there, and he's annoyed at some birds on the balcony. But anyways, so like this konjac color, it's from the baby blanket, and the blue is also from there. So yeah, it's a little bit more rustic, and stiff is not the right word, but it's not as drapey. But it's a good big size, and I added some tassels. So this is a really good warm shawl. I usually just wear it like this. So it's really nice now when the weather is colder. When I can wash the other one and use this for some months, and then I can come back to the lighter one. Yeah, and then I have one more before my recent foes. Or sorry, it was several. This summer I knitted this for me. So this is a Mount Pleasant top, and right now I don't remember the yarn. It's a knitting for olive yarn. I believe it's the cotton merino, the thin one, with like 500 meters on 50 grams or something, or 100 grams. Yeah, anyways, I will try to remember to check that up. So the yarn is a lot thinner than recommended for this sweater, but I did some testing with the gauge on different needles. I found a gauge that I liked, and then I calculated how many sizes bigger I needed to make to reach the size I wanted. So I believe this is 2 sizes up from what I normally would use. and it's really cute one, and this is a color I really like. It's not it's really funny because I went to the shop thinking that I wanted to buy some like light mauve, gray, purple, very light color, and I ended up with this, but I'm really pleased. It works really good with jeans, and it's drapey and nice, and this lace border is really pretty. Even though this is just washed in the washing machine and I haven't like blocked the lace, it really looks nice anyways with the scallop edge. So I can't use it in the summer because I'm really hot, but when it's like very cool summer days or in early autumn, I can use it a lot. And then I have 3 recent finished objects. 2 for Hugo and 1 for the husband. So this is another sweater for Hugo. So this is the Sinister Kittigan, but I didn't make a cardigan. I made a sweater. It has the description like in the pattern for how to convert the cardigan to a sweater. So it's Sinister cats on the yoke, and I really love this color combination. This yarn is from Pickles. It's their pure thin alpaca. I don't remember the colorway names, but they are in my project pages on Ravelry. And if you can't access Ravelry for any reason I want to know, just send me a message. The only thing with this is that I knitted it a little bit too short, so it's perfect fit now, but I don't know for how long. But anyways, he uses it a lot and he likes it because he likes animals and cats. And so it is cat sweater. And he has actually been sitting on my knee, telling me he wants to knit and holding the needles and telling me he's knitting on the sweater, the cat sweater. So that's really cute. I'm learning a new knitter already. And then, if you are a long-time viewer of the podcast, you know that I normally knit quite a lot of socks. And in the move and while being on maternity leave, I didn't knit a lot. And suddenly all the socks begin to get holes in them. So my husband is like, yeah, now I have 5 pairs with holes in them and I don't have time to repair them. I will, but if I don't have like any ambition or knitting mojo, I definitely don't have any repair mojo. But now the knitting mojo is better, and I knitted him a pair of socks in his with his preference. So he wants 1x1 rib. He wants Eye of Partridge heel, which is this reinforced slip stitch heel. It's a heel flap and gussets design. We have very high insteps, both of us, so like the fish lips kiss heel and afterthought heels and stuff, they usually don't work well for us. This yarn is from an indie dyer called Plank Stella. I believe she's in the UK. No, sorry, not the UK, the US. Could be from Canada, but probably US. So this is pre-COVID shopping. So 1 pair won't be enough, but it's a start. I have several socks, single socks laying around, so when I get the energy, I will probably start knitting him more socks because he needs them, and probably repair the old ones. And the last finished object is the most recent. This is a test knit for Katarina Lindhagen. It's the Stella Christmas hat. So this is for Hugo. It's a really, really cute Christmas hat. I chose to knit mine in light grey and dark grey, and it's a brioche body pom-pom and a 1x1 rib with mohair on the outside and not on the inside. So for my kid who doesn't appreciate mohair in his forehead, this was a perfect solution. I haven't been able to take any pictures of it yet because, just as me, my kid is very warm, so he doesn't appreciate having warm hats when it's not cold. So hopefully I can take some really cute pictures of this later on. So my version is with Sandnes mini alpaca and the Filcolana Tilia, the silk mohair. And in the brim I used Sandnes Sisu and Sandnes silk mohair. But I believe that in the original she knitted with the Isager Alpakka too. It's a really luscious one. Unfortunately I didn't have any at home, so I used these instead, but it worked out really great. And it's this is the third size, so there are 2 smaller sizes and also bigger sizes for adults, so you can make these awesome hats for the whole family. I got kind of nostalgic because I remembered a hat that my grandmother knitted for me when I was in probably 1st grade, a green hat with some, I think it was color work, like Santa's helpers or something, close to the brim, and the hat was so long so you could wrap like the tail or the end, you can wrap it several times around your neck, and I loved it and I used it a lot. So this made me think of that one. I haven't been thinking about it for several years, but you know, this made me think of it. So it's quite fun. So yeah, talking and talking. I'm having some hot tea in my cup from Julia Scott. She's a knitter and a ceramic, do you say that? Maker. So this is an octopus cup. It's really awesome. So yeah, then I can probably move on to whips, and I have like a huge pile of things cast on, so I won't show you everything, but I will show you like the current working in progress or works in progress. So I have been working this year. I have been wanting to knit a cozy classic raglan by Jessie May design since the pattern. Now I had a dried flower. Yeah, since she released the pattern, I have been wanting to knit one, and I do some hand dyeing now and then when I have time, and I think it's just for myself and for friends that want to, and my mother is a returning customer, and I wanted to dye some yarn for this, and I had some MCN undyed yarn, and I planned to dye it in a light grey, and for this sweater you use a fingering weight yarn and a silk mohair, or just a DK if you prefer. So I bought some silk mohair and I have the MCN, planning to do light grey. Ended up with this lightly variegated blackish purple color. It's really hard to show it, and it's probably a lot of dog hair on this. But yeah, I really love the color, and it's actually quite fast. So I have made the tubular cast on, and I do love the look you get with this rounded cast on. And I have tailored this, so the irony is that I wanted to make it a little bit more with a positive ease, light gray, like an everyday sweater. It's turned out in this black purple color, and it's quite snug. So one of the perks with knitting top down is that I have been trying it on. So I increased until I had a good fit around the bust, and then I decreased. I don't know if you can see the markers, probably not. Anyways, but I have markers for where I have done increases and decreases. So I decreased from the bust to like the smallest point at my waist, and since I wanted it longer than the original, from the smallest part of my waist I have been increasing again to make room for the hips, because I don't want negative ease, like the fabric stretching over like the bigger part of my tummy or my hips. So decreasing a little bit from the bust because my waist is a little bit smaller than my bust, and then back out again. And have been trying it on for like every 5 centimeters or so. So I'm actually at the bottom ribbing, and then it's just the sleeves, and it's knitted on quite a loose gauge. So I think I use 4.5 millimeter needles, and yeah, and 3.25 for the ribbing. So 4.5 for the stockinette. So this would be a perfect sweater to use now, but I have been distracted with other projects, so this has been a little bit on a hiatus, but I want to finish this as soon as possible, and now you can hold me accountable for it. And then I have one of my knitting friends sent me or tagged me in a new pattern release from a Finnish designer. So I had to cast on, and luckily I always have Rauma Finull at home. It's like the perfect rustic yarn for almost everything. You can use it with a silk mohair to soften it up, or you can knit it in a loose gauge or a tight gauge, and it's just perfect. So this is the start of a pair of X-ray mittens. So I'm using white and a dark gray. It looks black, but it's dark gray. So it's coming along really well, and it fits my hand. And since like I'm an anatomy nerd, this is just perfect for me. So I hope I will finish this before end of winter, but you know, living with a toddler, you don't have as much knitting time as you, or at least I don't have as much knitting time with a toddler, because we have to do a lot of other fun stuff. And then I have a project for Hugo. So this is some basic ribbed pants. I believe they're called Tynn strikkabuksa or something like that. It's from Strikkesilla, a Norwegian designer. So it's ribbed all the way. It has this fold over brim, so you can add, let's see. Yeah, here. I have a hole here so I can add elastic to adjust the waist. And this is one leg. And actually this is not the total length, because he is growing like crazy, but these ribbed pants are so useful. I feel I have knitted a pair in a DK weight, and this is a fingering weight, so these are thinner. So I actually have 10 centimeters of more ribbing. So for now he can just have it folded up, and as his legs is longer, we can make them longer. So one leg is finished, and I just have a lot of markers because I want to make sure that my decreases are placed evenly on both sides. So I won't remember how many rows I had between each, so I just check from the first leg when knitting the other one. So I just started the second leg, so I have quite a lot of ribbing left to knit, and his legs are really tall and he's getting taller and taller, so I need to just knit faster than he grows. And then I have one last work in progress. I have decided, I hope, that I can knit a pair of mittens for all of Hugo's teachers in kindergarten. They are 4. So I have been thinking about how to be able to make knitted gifts for 4 people when I figured this out in November and with limited knitting time. So I decided to make them semi-traditional Lovikka mittens. This is a Swedish tradition. Traditionally you use white yarn, and you have like decorations in yellow, red and blue, the traditional colors for the indigenous people in the northern of Sweden, and parts of Norway and Finland as well. But this is the kind of mitten that I learned to knit in school. So everyone in 8th grade knits a pair of these mittens for themselves. So unfortunately I didn't want to knit white mittens for kindergarten teachers, so I wanted to get light gray, but I couldn't find it, so it ended up with a dark gray. But I figured if I use Rauma Finull to do like the color decorations and a braid like they are supposed to be, it could be really looking good even though they're not the traditional color. So it's a quite quick knit. So the first pair I'm knitting on 5mm needles. So this is the first mitten, all done except for the decorations, and this is the second one. The other pairs I'm probably going to go up to a 5.5 because I'm getting a little bit of a too tight gauge. My first pair I knitted, I think I had 14 stitches per 10 centimeters, and these have 15.5. So these are quite small, but there's one of the teachers who is quite petite, so I figured perfect to have one pair that is a little bit on the smaller side, and then I can knit the other 3 pairs in a bigger size. So it's really, really beautiful mittens, and then when you knit them and they are finished, you wash them, or you soak them, and then you take a brush and you brush a lot, not felting, but you brush it so it gets a lot of halo and it gets water resistance, and so you do it on both the outside and the inside, and then you sew the decoration. Usually you make crosses on this brim. So I have some work in front of me, but I really hope I can make this because I really want to show the teachers how much we appreciate them and all the things they do. And as you can probably tell, Hugo really loves his kindergarten, and we are really pleased with how it's going, especially now when it's a lot of back and forth with the kindergarten being closed when it's lockdown, and then coming back up, and they have had to separate groups and have like 3 or 4 kids per teacher, and not being able to cooperate in the normal groups. Normally I believe there are 12 in each group, so they had to split them up and be outside a lot, so they have been working a lot, and I want to show them some appreciation, so I figured I can do that with some knitting. So that's the last work in progress for now. And then I have some stash a lot. It's not stash a lot because I'm not stashing a lot anymore, but I have some yarn that has arrived this year. And also you get some of my future knitting plans at the same time, because I know that a lot of people are struggling, and since a lot of the knitting shows and festivals have been closed, I have tried to boost my local yarn shop and hand dyers I really like, even though I can't buy all the yarn. I still have so much yarn, but I have got some. This is from one of my favorite dyers, Moods of Colors. So she's a Swedish dyer. I have bought yarn from her for many years, and this is her Gentle Corriedale DK. So this is 50 gram skeins, and it's perfect because I want to make Hugo another Merida hat. I have knitted probably 3 or 4 of them, and it's a 2-color brioche pattern, and it has the perfect fit, and it has short rows to cover the ears, and I usually make them with a pom-pom. So when I saw these, this is juniper green and ochre yellow, I decided that these 2 would be perfect for a hat for Hugo. So I need to wind these up and knit as soon as possible. I probably shouldn't finish something of the other things first, but I do want to knit a hat very soon. And then I have Canadian yarn that was has been on quite a detour. This is from a dyer con, now it's French, so Grenouille Company. I believe it means frog. I bought a couple of skeins of yarn from her last year, and then I saw this color on her Etsy in early March, and I ordered it. It's a superwash merino nylon blend in the color rust. I ordered those, and then COVID lockdown, and I figured it will probably take some time before my yarn will arrive. And 1 month and 2 months passed by, and 3 months passed by, and I sent her a message and say, hey, I just wanted to check if there's any tracking, or have you received it back or anything, because I haven't gotten it yet. And unfortunately there was no way to track it, but she did send it in March, and then I believe it was in September. So this was in March, and I wrote to her in June or something, or July, and then in September I got a message that, hey, the skeins have returned back to me because they have been it has been laying around in like the border shipping facility, and they just returned it to me. Do you want me to send it again? And I said, yes, please. I still want the yarn. She was really nice about it and offered me a refund and stuff. But I really wanted the yarn, so this is a yarn for Hugo. It's not my colors, but it's totally Hugo. So it's a lot of brown and orange colors and some gray. So it's, I don't know what's it going to be yet, but it's really soft and I really like it. So yeah, this will be something for him later on. And then the last acquisition, I got like a gift certificate for my birthday at the local Husflid where they have yarn. And when Hillesvåg released their new yarn, I couldn't resist, so I got some skeins of their new yarn, Vidde. So it's Norwegian lamb's wool, and it's quite thick, so it's, let's see, it's 200 meters per 100 grams. So it's recommended a needle size 4.5 to 5 millimeters approximately. So a worsted weight probably. So this is the natural gray color. So don't quote me on this, but I do believe they mix like pelt wool and lamb's wool to get, because they are like darker hairs in the yarn. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, it's really nice. It's still quite rustic, but I really have learned to appreciate this quality of yarn. So I got 5 skeins from my gift certificates. So I'm planning to knit a shawl with this, like a thick winter shawl. I haven't decided if I'm just going to keep it grey or if I should dye it myself in some colors. Maybe you have some suggestions. Should I just use this color or dye it? And which color should I dye it in? Because I don't know. Luckily, I have projects to work on meanwhile. So yeah, that's probably everything for now. I have been talking and my throat is kind of sore. So yeah, I don't think it's a lot more to say today. As I said in the beginning, I hope that I can keep recording and that I can show you some more of the projects I have been working on during my absence as a podcaster. There are a lot of baby knits that I have used a lot and I have liked a lot, but most of the things are packed away since we moved and he has grown. So the cute cardigans I made for him when he was 6 months old has been packed away. So I can't like dig them out right now, but hopefully I can do it little by little, and hopefully I can show you some fun things now and then. So I really hope you have a really good day and a good week, and that you keep safe in these weird upside down times, and hope to speak to you soon again. Bye!